Hello my dear friends, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. So you are very welcome in a lecture number 1 of circles. Okay, so today we are going to start a new chapter which is very important. So you have to listen very carefully. Okay, yes, so now my dear friend, let's start. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the introduction of circle. Now basically what is circle? Okay, so circle is very important part of the geometry. Okay, yeah, so now here is okay, so circle is a two-dimensional figure. Circle is what? It is a two-dimensional figure. Okay, so let's see the definition of the circle. Basic definition. Okay, so the basic definition of circle is a circle is a collection of all points in a plane. A circle is a collection of all points in a plane which are at a constant distance from a fixed point, which are yes, at a constant distance from a fixed point. Here you can see that, let's suppose this is a fixed point. Okay, and these are the points in a plane. Okay, so all these points are equidistant from this fixed point, means all these points are at the equidistance from this point. Okay, so we can say that this is the combination of all the points, means the circle is the combination of, or we can say it is a collection of all the points in a plane. Okay, so if we join these points, so we get a circle. We get a circle. Okay, I hope you understand this thing. What is circle? So a circle is a collection of all the points in a plane which are at a constant distance from a fixed point. That fixed point is called, it is the center of the circle. It is the center of the circle. We can write it is the center of the circle. Okay, I hope you get this point. Yes or no? So my dear friends, the set of all the points in a plane that is at a fixed distance from a fixed point makes a circle. Okay, and a fixed point from which the set of points are at a fixed distance is called the center of the circle. It is what? It is called the center of the circle. Okay, I hope you get this point. So a circle divides the plane into three parts. So which are, first is interior, means inside the circle, and the second is the circle itself, and the third one is exterior, means outside the circle. So there are three parts: interior and circle itself and the exterior. Got it? Yeah, so now let's move on. So here is, now let's see the parts of the circle. The parts of the circle. So the first part is center. Okay, it means center of the circle. Now what is the center of the circle? So we can say that it is the midpoint of a circle. It is the midpoint of a circle. You can see in the figure. Let's suppose we have a circle like this. Okay, so this dot it is what? It is the center of the circle. Okay, and this is the midpoint of the circle. It is the midpoint of the circle. Okay, if we draw from this point, if we draw a line from this point to any of the circle, okay, so all these line segments are equal. We can say that all these line segments are what? Are equal. I hope my dear friends you understand these things, what is center. So yes, so now let's move on. Now let's see the radius of the circle. What is radius of the circle? The distance between the center of the circle and any point on its edge is called the radius. Means here is the distance between the center. Let's suppose O is the center of the circle, means it is the midpoint of the circle. Okay, so the distance between the center of the circle and any point on its edge, means on the, yeah, on the upper part, on the surface of the circle. Let's suppose this point is A. So if we join these 2 points O and A, we get a line which is what? This. So this is the radius of the circle. So this is the radius of the circle. I hope my dear friends you understand these things. Okay, yes, so now let's talk about the diameter of circle. Okay, So basically, what is diameter of circle? Here you can see that a line segment having both the endpoints on the circle, okay, on the circle which passes through center of the circle, okay, which passes through center of the circle is called the diameter of the circle. I hope you get this point, my dear friends. Here you can see that this is a line segment having both the endpoints on the circle and passing through the center, okay. This is center of the circle, okay. Now it is twice the length of the radius. It means d is equals to twice of r. Diameter is always equals to twice of r. R means radius, and we can find r is equals to d by 2 with this. Okay, so from the diameter, the radius of the circle formula is obtained as r is equals to d by 2. Okay, I hope you understand these things, my dear friends. Now let's see the chord. Now what is chord? A line segment whose endpoints lie on the circle. It means, let's suppose we have 2 points A and B, and if we join these 2 points, we can say that this is the chord. It means we can also say that diameter is also a chord. We can say diameter is also a chord. Okay, I hope you get this point, because diameter because the endpoints of the diameter also lie on the circle. Okay, I hope you get this point. So now we can say that all the diameters are called chord, but all the chords are not diameter. So my dear friends, I hope you understand these things. Okay, yes. So now let's move on. Yes, so here is, now let's discuss about the annulus. Now what is annulus? So the annulus is the region bounded by two concentric circles. Here you can see that we have two circles, C1 and C2. And these two circles having common points, having common center, having common midpoint. So we can say that these two circles are what? Are concentric circle. And it is basically a ring shaped object. Okay, so here is this is the annulus, and this is the diagram, and this region is called the annulus. So we can say the region bounded by two concentric circle, it is especially a ring shaped object. So we can say this is annulus. I hope you understand these things, my dear friends. Okay, yes. So now let's move on. Yes, so now let's talk about the arc. Now what is arc? So it is basically the connected curve of a circle. Okay, so here you can see that if we join A to B, here is this curved, this is smooth curve. It is what? This is the arc of the circle. So basically it is the part of a circle. Okay, I hope you get this point. So this is what? This is arc of the circle. Okay, now let's move on. So here is, now let's talk about the sector. Now what is sector? So a region bounded by two radii and an arc. Okay, so here you can see that, let's suppose this is the center of the circle. Okay, and this is point A and this is point P. Okay, so OA is what? OA is the radius, and OB is also the radius of the circle. So this is radius and this is radius. So a region bounded by two radii means there is two radii and an arc. Okay, and this AB, this, let's suppose if we take this point C, so the ACB, this is what? This is the arc. Okay, so the region bounded by the two radii, okay, and an arc means we are talking about this region. So this is what? This is the sector. This is the sector. Okay. I hope you get this point. So now here is, you can see that if the region bounded by the two radii and the minor arc, this is what? This is the minor arc. Okay. So the region is what? Minor sector. And the region bounded by the two radii and the major arc, this is the major arc. This is the major arc. We can say, let's suppose this is point D. So A, D, B is what? It is the major arc. Okay. So we can say that the region bounded by the two radii and the major arc, that region is called major sector. This. Okay. We are talking about this region. So this region is what? So this region is what? This region is minor sector. Minor sector. Okay. And the above region is major sector. Okay. And this arc ACB, this is the minor arc. Okay. And the major arc means arc ADB is the major arc. I hope you understand these things, my dear friends. Okay. Yes. So now let's move on. Yes. So now let's see this segment. Now what is segment? Okay. A region bounded by a chord, and an arc lying between the chords and points. So you can see in the figure here is, in this figure, this is AB is what? AB is the chord. Okay. And the ACB is the arc. ACB is the arc. So the region bounded by the chord and the arc is what? This is the segment. Okay. And the region bounded by the chord and the minor arc, this is the minor segment. Okay. ACB is what? This is the minor arc. Okay. And the region bounded by the chord and the major arc. And the major arc means this whole region is the what? This is the major segment. Arc ADB is what? Arc ADB is the major arc and arc ACB is the minor arc. Okay. I hope you get this point, my dear friends. Yeah. So now let's move on. So here is, now let's talk about the secant. Now what is secant? Okay. So a straight line cutting the circle. Here is we have a straight line which cut the circle at two distinct points, points A and point B. Okay. It is also called an extended chord. Okay. Here there is a difference between chord and the secant. Secant passes the circle, means here is, this is the extended. AB is the chord, but PQ is what? PQ is the what? PQ is the secant. Secant cut the circle. Okay. I hope you understand these things. So a straight line cutting the circle at 2 points, it is called the secant. Okay. We can draw like this also. We can draw this also. We can draw this also. Okay. So these two are the secant of the circle. Okay. It is also called the extended chord. It is also called what? It is also called the extended chord. So my dear friends, I hope you understand these things. Yes. So now the next part is tangent. Now what is tangent? Here you can see that a coplanar straight line. Here is a coplanar straight line touching the circle at a single point. Okay. Here you can see that we have a line CD. Okay. So this line touch the circle at just one point, which is point G. So this is what? This is the tangent, and this point G is known as point of contact. Or we can call it as also point of tangency. Okay. It is also called point of tangency. Okay, I hope you understand these things. So all these terms are related to the circles. Okay, yes. So now let's see the examples, like a circle shaped object. There are many objects as we have seen in the real world that are circular in shape. Okay, some of the examples are ring. Okay, ring is what? Ring is in the shape of circle. CD or disc. This is also the, yeah. This is also it is also in the shape of circle. Bangles also, coins, wheels, button, dartboard, hula hoop. Okay, so these are the examples of circles. These are the examples of circles. Got it, my dear friends? Yes, so now let's see the circle formula. Let's see this circle formula. So we know that circle is what? Circle is a two-dimensional figure. Circle is a two-dimensional figure, means we can say 2D figure. Okay, so the two different parameters are used to measure the circles. Okay, so which are, first is area of circle. Okay, and the second one is circumference of a circle. Okay, area of a circle and circumference of a circle. Okay, I hope you get this point. Now let's see area of circle. Okay, so area of circle is the amount of space occupied by the circle. Occupied by the circle. Okay, so the circle formula to find the area is, so here is area of circle is equals to pi r square. Here is pi r square. So here is r is what? R is the radius of circle. Radius of circle. Okay, got it. I hope you understand these things. So here is pi. The value of pi is 22 upon 7 or 3.14. Okay, I hope you get this point. If in the question, if this mentioned that pi is equals to 3.14, then we have to use this value. If there is no mention, then we have to use this value. Okay, I hope you get this point. So this is the formula of area of circle. Now let's see the circumference of a circle. So what is the circumference? Okay, so the perimeter of a circle is the distance covered by going around its boundary once. Okay, now let's suppose this is a circle, and if we start and move throughout the circle. Okay, so if we cover this distance, okay, by going around its boundary once. Okay, so the perimeter of a circle has a special name, which is circumference. So this is what? Circumference, which is pi times the diameter, which is given by the formula 2 pi r. So the formula of circumference of the circle is what? So we can write circumference of circle is equals to 2 pi r, or we can write it as pi into d, because we know that d is what? 2 into r. Okay, we can write it as also pi into 2r, and we know that twice of r is equals to d. D is what? Twice of r. Okay, so here we can write, so circumference is what? Pi d is equals to 2 pi r. I hope you understand these things, my dear friends. So this is the formula of circumference of circle. Okay, Yes, so now let's see the properties of circle. Okay, the outer line of a circle is at equidistance from the center, we know that. Okay, the diameter of the circle divides it into two equal parts, means diameter of a circle divides the circle into two equal parts. Okay, let's suppose this is a circle. Okay, and this is the diameter. So this part and this part is equal, means the area of first part and the area of second part is equal. Okay, yes, circle which have equal radii are congruent to each other. They are congruent to each other. Okay, means they are equal. They are equal. Circles which are different in size or having different radii are similar. If circle having different size and having different radius, then these type of circle are similar, not congruent. Okay. Here is the diameter of a circle is the largest chord and is double the radius. Okay, so the diameter of a circle is the largest chord and it is the double, means the diameter is the double of the radius. Okay, yes. So now let's solve some problem. So here is find the area and the circumference of a circle whose radius is 10 centimeter and we have to use the value of pi is 3.14. Okay, so my dear friends, here is we know that the formula of area of circle is what? This is equals to pi r square. Okay, and we know that pi we have to use 3.14 into r is what? R is tan square, means tan into tan. Okay, if we remove this point we get 100 in the denominator. So here we get this 100 will be cancelled by this. Okay, so we get area is equals to 314 centimeter square. 314 centimeter square. Okay, I hope you get this point. Yeah, so now the next is we have to find the circumference. So circumference of circle is what? So circumference of a circle is, we know that this is 2 pi r. Okay, here is 2 into 3.14 into radius is what? Radius is tan. Radius is tan. Okay, so if we remove this point we get the 100 in the denominator, because after the point we have two digits. Okay, here is 10 and this 10 will be cancelled. Okay, so here is we get, so if we multiply 314 into 2 we get 628, which is divided by tan. Okay, 628 upon tan. Okay, now if we divide this we get, so c is equals to, means circumference is equals to 62.8 centimeter. 62.8 centimeter. So this is the answer of this question. Okay, yes. So the next question here is find the area of a circle whose circumference is 31.4 centimeter. So we have here c is, means circumference is 31.4 centimeter. Okay, and we know that c is equals to 2 pi r, means circumference is what? 2 pi r, which is equals to 31.4. From this we can easily find the radius of the circle. So r is equals to 1.4, means 31.4 upon 2 into pi is what? We know that pi is 3.14. Okay, now if we remove this point, so we get tan in the denominator, and if we remove this point then we get 100 in the numerator, and this 314 and this 314 will be cancelled, this 10 and this 10 will be cancelled, so we get 10 upon 2. After solving this we get 5. So the radius is what? 5 centimeter. What is? Yeah, 5 centimeter. Okay, I hope you get this point. Now we have to find the area. So we know that area is what? Area is pi r square. So here is pi is what? Pi is 3.14 into r is 5 into 5, because we have r square. Okay, so if you multiply this we get 78.5 centimeter square. So here is area is what? 78.5 centimeter square. I hope you understand these things, my dear friends. So this is our answer. Okay. Yes, so the next question is, the area of a circle is 616 centimeter square. Find its circumference. Now here we have to find its circumference. Okay, so here is, we know that area is equals to what? Pi r square. What is pi r square? Okay, okay, and we have the area is what? 616. Okay, so the r square is what? 616 divided by pi. Okay, here we know that pi is equals to 22 upon 7, so this will become 616 upon 22 and into 7. This 7 goes to the numerator, goes to the numerator. Okay, so we have r square is equals to 616 into 7 divided by 22. After solving this term, we get 196. Okay, so from this r is equals to under root of 196. So this will this will become r is equals to, we get what? We get 14 centimeter. So the value of r is what? 14 centimeter. Now we have to find the circumference. So what is the circumference? So here is c is equals to 2 pi r. Okay, so 2 into 22 upon 7 into r is what? R is 14. Okay, so this will be cancelled by 2 times. We get 88 centimeter. We get 88 centimeter. So circumference is equals to 88 centimeter. I hope you understand these things, my dear friends. Circumference is in the single unit, means it is not in the square. Okay, like in the area, the unit is centimeter square or meter square. Okay, because the circumference is what? It is a distance term. Okay, so we are writing the single unit, means centimeter. Okay. Yes, so now my dear friends, here is the ratio of the radii of two wheels is 4:5. Okay, now find the ratio of their circumference. Okay, so first of all, let's suppose that r1 means radius of first wheel is 4x. Okay, and r2 radius of second wheel is 5x. Okay, and we have to find c1 upon c2 means the ratio of circumference of wheel 1 and the circumference of wheel 1 to the circumference of wheel 2. So here is, we know that, so this will be 2 pi r1. Okay, and this will be 2 pi r2. Okay, and we have r1 and r2, so here 2 pi and 2 pi will be cancelled. So here we get r1 upon r2, and we know that r1 is what? 4x divided by r2 is 5x. Okay, so this x and this x will be cancelled, so we get 4 upon 5. Okay, so the ratio of their circumference is what? c1 ratio c2 is 4:5. So this is the answer of this question. Okay, yes, so now my dear friends, so the next question here is, from a circular sheet of a radius 5 centimeter. We have a circular sheet which having the radius 5 centimeter. Okay, a circle of radius 3 centimeter is removed. A circle of radius 3 centimeter is removed. Find the area of the remaining sheet. Okay, we have to find the area of the remaining sheet. Let's suppose we have a circle like this. Let's suppose this is a circle. Okay, which having the radius 5 centimeter. Okay, in this circle we are removing a circle of radius 3 centimeter. Okay, so what is the area of the remaining sheet? Means we have to find the area of the remaining sheet. So for this we have to subtract the area of the second circle from the big circle. Okay, let's suppose this is c1 and this is c2. Okay, circle 1 and this is circle 2, so we can write area of circle 1 which is equals to pi r1 square. Okay, r is what? 5 centimeter, so here is pi into 5 into 5. Okay, so this will become 25 pi. Okay, this is centimeter square. Okay, now the area of circle 2, which is pi r2 square, this is equals to pi into in this case r is what, 3 square, so this is 3 into 3, so we get 9 pi centimeter squares. Now the area of remaining part, this will be, here is area of C1 means area of circle 1 minus area of circle 2. Area of circle 2. Okay, so area of remaining part is equals to area of circle 1 is what? Area of circle 1 is 25 pi. 25 pi minus this is 9 pi. Okay, so from this if we take pi as a common, so we get 25 minus 9. Okay, after solving this will become 16 into pi. What is? Yeah, 16 into pi. So now let's solve this. So 16 into 22 upon 7. Okay, so after solving this we get 50.28 centimeter square. So the area of the remaining part is what? 50.28 centimeter square. Okay, so area of remaining part is equals to 50.28 centimeter square. Okay, I hope you understand these things, my dear friends. So this is our answer of this question. So now, my dear friends, this is enough for today, and we will meet in the next lecture with the next amazing topic. So thank you very much for listening me, and take care and goodbye.